Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along here with Nick.
I live here now. I'm going to do the show here from every week now.
You what?
I'm going to do the show here every week now. I live here now.
That's fine with me. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. And Spence is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Mike is here.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And Steve is here.
Hello, everybody.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by Vimix Software, Telestream Wirecast Software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Do you like that intro better?
I didn't.
You didn't even,
I wasn't even listening.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, yes, I did hear. Yes, I did hear. A piece of software was not mentioned in the intro, was it?
Well, yeah, it was.
Oh, I don't know.
It is in the intro. So what's up? You're back. You back in Raleigh.
Went to the state fair.
And you went to the tell people about the state fair.
Very interesting.
Your first exposure to the state fair? Oh boy.
No, it was a good time. It was a beautiful day yesterday. It was a good day for the fair.
The fair. He had donut
I'll post an image in
burger.
Chat. It was very good. Heart attack on a bun.
Well,
it was a bun.
I heard the big thing this year is a Thanksgiving egg roll.
Yes, and I did.
They take.
I saw. I didn't try it. I saw a couple places that had it. I tried something from the egg roll place. It was not the Thanksgiving though. That seemed a little weird. I didn't feel. I don't know how I felt about that.
Right.
My daughter tried it. She said it was good.
Well, there you go. Go to the fair.
That solves all our problem. Now Thanksgiving, all we have to do is just get each a big egg roll.
Yeah, and you're good to go.
You're covered.
Yep.
Take it with you to whatever else you want to do that day.
So to add insult to injury, for several hours on Wednesday, Equifax website was compromised again, this time to deliver fraudulent Adobe Flash updates.
Beautiful.
Which, when clicked, infected visitors' computers with adware that was detected by only 3 of 65 antivirus providers. That's coming from Ars Technica. So,
don't worry, $7.1 billion from the federal government, though. It's okay. They're gonna.
No, they stopped it. By the way, yeah, they put a hold on it.
Yeah,
we'll get to it. I've got a story about that.
I haven't. Well, they'll get it.
Yeah, they'll
get it either way.
But the thing is, I was reading, and TransUnion also was compromised this way. And the consensus is that it is a third-party script.
Yeah.
That they're both using. That it's not really that their website.
Well, for example, like everybody uses CAPTCHA. If CAPTCHA was compromised and allowing,
right.
I mean, that's the problem now. All these websites pull from from everywhere. There's scripts from all over the internet that are cross-linked.
Right.
So it puts you at a real disadvantage security-wise. I mean, I guess so if that's the case, I mean, is that's not really their fault, right?
Absolutely. It's not, well, I mean, it's still a problem.
Of course, it's still a problem, but it's not. But it's not necessarily it's not like their website got compromised.
Right. No, it's not the website itself. No. And to continue on that Equifax thing, 10.9 million U.S. driver licenses were stolen in the massive breach that Equifax suffered in mid-May. According to a new report...
Does that mean I can't drive anymore if I lost my license?
Well, yeah, that's true. What do you do? I don't know. The Wall Street Journal reported that, and it was revealed that attackers got a hold of 15.2 million... Steve, are you listening? UK customers' records, though only 693,000 among them had enough info in the system for the breach to be a real threat to their privacy. Affected customers provided most of the driver's license on file to verify their identities when they disputed their credit report information through an Equifax webpage. That page was one of the entry points that attackers used to gain entry to the credit report agency system. So the number of compromised Britons is climbing. And that's not good news for you guys. I mean, in the beginning, they were saying that there was really nothing there in Britain. But
as always, that's the initial report, and then the truth comes out.
Yeah.
Steve, what type of agencies are responsible for establishing people's credit ratings for loans?
To be honest, I have no idea because I don't have any credit, so I've got no idea at all how it works in England.
Here we've made it into an industry and business.
I imagine there are credit rating services that you have to go to, should you need to get credit, but I'm just fortunate I've never had to do it.
That's a good policy. There's been talk this week, or actually longer than this week, about doing away with Social Security numbers and coming up with some new system, some biometric system or something like that. But that doesn't fix the credit monitoring and credit score system for establishing loans. We're in such trouble now. We have so many people with, what is it, over $1 trillion in student loans, over $1 trillion in revolving credit card charges, over $1 trillion in mortgages, and going up every day.
Yep.
Plus 20 trillion just in the government's borrowing, and something like 210 trillion in unfunded liabilities.
Well, it's hardly surprising. The attitude of most people nowadays is, I want this, I've seen it, I'm going to get it, and they just buy it on credit. So, what happened to the days where you put money aside and get it in a couple of months' time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, layaway plan.
Yeah, just put money in your bank account until you've got enough in there. Oh, I don't know. Youngsters nowadays, there's poor old Nick sat there listening to us thinking, look at those old gits going on and on.
No, I'm all in. I use my other credit card to pay off my current credit card. That's what I do. That's the way to go.
Yeah, that's how it's done. You get a new one through the post saying guaranteed a minimum amount of credit allowed, and then you just clear off one credit card with the new one that you've just got.
Absolutely.
And then wait for the next one to come in.
It's a way to do it.
What do you call it? Robbing
Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's Robin Hood.
Huh?
Robin Hood, steal from the rich to give to the poor.
Yeah.
But it really ultimately doesn't work that way. But
But the thing here that sort of like got me mad, that story. Another day, another report of a major breach of sensitive U.S. military and intelligence data. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, again, and a cyber attacker nicknamed Alf gained access to an Australian defense contractor's computer and began a 4-month raid that snared data of unsophisticated U.S. weapons system. Using the simple combination of login names and password, admin, and guest. And exploiting a vulnerability in the company's help desk portal. The attacker roved the firm's network for 4 months. The identity and affiliation of the hackers in the Australian attack weren't disclosed, but officials with knowledge of the intrusion said the attack was thought to have originated in China. Why does a defense contractor have data on sophisticated U.S. weapon systems?
because they develop it.
In Australia.
They have agreements in place for, I mean, the government doesn't actually develop these things except that they have advisors and scientists promoting the development of this stuff. But it's all contracted out. That's the whole point of defense contractor. They are responsible for, like Eisenhower said, beware the military-industrial complex. This is how it works. It's all done by a very select industry promoting development and purchasing of sophisticated defense and weapon products.
It's not a good thing to know that,
I think
that you're
gone on for so many years with this false sense of security because it didn't seem like this stuff was vulnerable, and obviously it is. And no matter what system you develop to protect it, there will always be the people that build back doors into it because they develop it and they're saying, well, you know, I don't want to have to go through the front security to go in and work on the system. I want to have my own back door to make it easy. So human nature being what it is.
Yeah.
If anybody, I don't remember, what's it called? The Assets is the show. I think it's on Netflix. It's about the, excuse me, Aldrich Ames spy story. He was a guy that became a mole within the CIA for the Russians directly and gave up all of the active undercover assets or turned people in the Soviet Union back in the early 80s. And this is an American who gave all that for money. He did it for money. His wife liked to spend money, and he wanted to be secure in letting his wife have as much money as she wanted to spend. So he gave up all these people, and most of them were killed, murdered by the Soviet Union. But why would anybody be willing to give up these secrets for money? Look at what happened. Who's the one that's in prison now? Chelsea, whatever her name is. I can't remember.
She still in
Chelsea Manning?
Are they still in prison?
No, they're moving to Canada, I believe, is what I saw.
Yeah, they got released, I think, in the last couple of weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chelsea Manning.
Yeah. Greed, money, has nothing to do with being patriotic or not.
Well, they say everything has a price. You can put a price on most things. You
Hey,
get a price
yeah.
on ahead of somebody. So, if the price is right, somebody will do it.
Right. So to get back to Equifax, so after malware was discovered on Equifax's website again, the IRS decided late Thursday that it would temporarily suspend the agency's $7.1 million data security contract with the company. The company's former CEO blamed a signal careless employee for the entire snafu. How convenient. But even as he was
Always
getting...
convenient to have a scapegoat.
Yeah. But even as he was getting grilled in Congress earlier this month, the IRS was awarding the company with a no-bid contract to provide fraud prevention and taxpayer identification services.
Genius.
Yeah, very, very genius. That's what is it? To let the fox guard the hen house?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
Following new information available today, the IRS temporarily suspended its short-term contract with Equifax for identity proofing services. The agency said in a statement, during this suspension, the IRS will continue its review of Equifax systems and security. The agency does not believe that any data the IRS has shared with Equifax to date has been compromised, but the suspension was taken as a precautionary step. At least somebody there made the right decision. I don't know who. But come on. I don't think it came out big time in the media that they were offered that.
No, it wasn't. It was totally
So,
reported on
yeah.
like tech websites. I mean, I didn't see a single like CNN or Fox or NBC headline about this at all. I don't want to talk about it.
Can you imagine what people are gonna what's gonna happen if the American people find out about this?
They won't.
And when the rest of the world finds out about this, it's a lot of people are going to be laughing. So what else is going on? Mike, technical question here. Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, you're here. I cannot hear Nick in my earbud. I can
Are you sure?
can hear everybody else, but is that part of that mix minus that you did here with the speaker?
No, the mix minus only has to do. I don't know. Are you listening through the speakers, or are you listening through a separate? If it's mix minus, you got to make sure he's assigned to that channel.
Well, I cannot hear any of the local microphones, not mine and not the other ones.
Because it's coming from the speaker.
Yeah, I'm listening on the speakers.
Then no, you can't hear it.
Okay, that's what I was afraid.
You can create a separate mix minus just for headphones and control all that.
Well,
In fact, if you've got the aux sends, you might want to do that.
I do have an aux send available. Yeah.
Nick would show you how to do that. All you do is just wire the headphone amp into that aux send. Then you can control the level of each microphone or source going into your headphones, including your own.
That's fact.
Okay.
That's probably a real good use for the for subgroups 3 and 4, unless you're using them.
I'm using subgroups. They don't have numbers.
Yeah, they do. You're using
Where are
1,
they?
2, and 4.
Where are the numbers? 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, what's the 1, 2, 3, 4?
It's the two beside the main.
Okay, so I'm using 1 and 2 and 4. 1 and 2 sends. I don't know why 1 and 2 sends the audio
That's the
to
main.
the reruns machine now to the.
That's the main audio.
Okay.
So you could do theoretically what you could do is move number 4 to the unused aux send since it's mono. That would give you a stereo headphone feed using subgroups 3 and 4.
All right, we'll talk about it after the show. All right.
Well, Nick knows.
Yeah.
I've learned Nick how to do it.
You learned him?
Yeah.
Did he learn you?
What? Sorry,
What?
I was texting.
What? Who? Huh? Where?
You're texting while driving?
Yeah, well, yes. While steering the show and control, I was texting. That was a good one. No?
Did you wake up your computer?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It worked. I saw an interesting story here. This is from Ars Technica.
Mhm.
There's an FCC form number 477 where the FCC is trying to collect information from ISPs about where exactly they're providing broadband, who's providing it and where. And the telecom lobbying groups are pushing very hard against this source of information. And it begs the question of why don't the ISPs want to tell the FCC, like, down to the street level where they're providing internet.
I would say the ISP don't care, but it's the lobbyists.
Well, but the lobbyists are working on behalf of the ISPs. It's just it's interesting on why.
That's a very good.
On why the FC or why the ISP wouldn't want to tell the FC. Well, because I mean, I guess maybe it would show that they're really not providing service everywhere. Because it would show where service is not available.
Isn't there a mandate that by a certain date, all unserved communities had to be some percentage of served?
That could be it too.
Effort, that the rural fiber initiative and all that. That's why we pay every month that tax on all communication services. So there's a monthly fee, $1 or $2, that goes towards the rural internet initiative. If you look at your bill, anybody ever look at your bill anymore? No, it's out there somewhere.
The bill, quote unquote, that you're talking about from Time Warner, or I noticed, charges you $6 and some cents for broadcast TV surcharge and $2.75 for sports package surcharge. So I called them. And they say everybody has to pay that. They could not explain why we have to pay a surcharge for stuff that we don't use. I told her, I said, disconnect all my sports. If I wanted to see people kneeling, I can go to a church and see them do that.
Is that what you said to them?
I did.
Wow. I'm sure it went right over their head.
Well,
just saying.
I mean, at that point, I was mad. I mean, I said, "What are you charging me this for?" And you are charging me for the privilege of putting an antenna on the TV because you go down so much? You charging me for that?
I guess so.
Well,
did you see this past week there was an article about that the carriers, or I should say the cable-enabled networks are finally getting to the point where they're recognizing they have a trend of losing people because of you pay your monthly cable bill, you are subsidizing channels that you don't like. Even if you never watch a specific channel, you're paying $1 or $2 a month to that channel for it to be covered.
Well,
whether you love it or not and never watch it, you're still supporting it. So they finally got to the point where they're starting to recognize, hey, we have a problem. We're losing like 300,000 subscribers. I forget what the time period was, but it was alarming. Finally starting to wake up to the fact that, hey, this isn't going in our direction.
Oh, that they're not going to change their direction. They're going to stay with the direction the way that it goes until
it's gone.
Run it to the ground.
Unfortunately, it'll be like a some other businesses where as they lose subscribers, they just raise the rate on the ones that are still there, so they can maintain their profit level or whatever, their operating expense level. So,
well, we all know cord cutting doesn't happen.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Cord cutting.
Well, here's the problem with cord cutting. It's great. I think cord cutting is a millennial concept. Like, for example, I can guarantee you my grandparents will never cancel their cable subscription. It won't happen.
Well,
it won't. I am telling you right now that will never happen. While they're both living, that will never happen. That's what they do. They're retired and they watch television. But and there's nothing it's just too confusing to cut the cord. It's multiple apps. It's a device.
Yes, it is.
It's just not feasible.
That's what I was going to say. It may happen if there was something that organized everything in one place, and all you have to do is use the remote, and everything will happen behind the scenes. Then people like that could do it.
But once that happens, it's the same thing, because are you going to be able to choose an a la carte list of channels to watch? No, you're going to buy a package that's going to have things that you never watch. So it'll be back to the same thing. It's just a different delivery method.
Eventually, somebody's going to switch on to the fact and realize we need to provide an a la carte service, and then everyone will jump on the bandwagon, and all these channels that you're paying $1 a month for are going to go by the wayside, unfortunately. But when you get a package, you're supporting the little guy.
It's interesting.
Eventually, I'm sure it will turn to you pick a la carte whatever you want, and there'll be ones that go and they're no longer to be seen.
The gist of the article was that the small or channels that are out there now are not being affected as much as they should be, because it's not about how many people are watching. It's about how many subscribers there are overall. So their advertising rate per minute is set by the fact that, we have 30 million subscribers. Well, you don't have 30 million people watching you. That doesn't matter. Ratings don't matter anymore. It's advertising dollars. That's how they measure the success. So without them being aware or impacted by it, nothing will change. What they're saying now is that the companies that are the aggregators, the cable companies, are finally realizing and getting to the point where they're saying, this is affecting our bottom line, because we're making so much money, supposedly making so much money from advertising dollars being paid through the system, that the numbers are dropping. They can't sustain it anymore. It's like used to be that Social Security was paid for every 2 people working, you funded 1 Social Security recipient. Well, now it's like, how many people have to be working to support one person? 12, 15?
What is it? What's the current? I think it's 3, right?
Maybe I got it backwards. Maybe it's like 2 for every 1.
It's 3 for every 1, I believe.
Yeah.
Spence, your mic's a little hot when you're talking loud.
Yeah, well, I've kept turning it down. It's down now to 60%.
Interesting.
I'll turn it lower.
3 people for each.
I believe that's the current number. That could be wrong. That's what it was the last time I saw it. It was 3 taking out for every 1 person.
Amazing.
Currently putting into the system.
Well,
what would cause the microphone level to change on its own? I have everything I thought turned off.
AGC?
No, typically we run into the problem. It's a driver issue.
Especially since you said you just did a Windows update.
And also, whenever you look into the settings, you have to make sure that mic boost is not turned on.
Yep. What is allow applications to take exclusive control of device?
I don't know.
That's fine. That doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I was just looking through articles about microphone levels, and it said to turn this off. But
I always turn it off. It just stops.
My level's moving by itself.
Oh, you do see it moving by itself?
Yeah.
Yep. I just watched it move.
Yeah, you got another problem.
Some program somewhere that's trying to take over what you're setting. So I usually turn that off, so nothing has control apart from me.
And
Thank you very much.
Spence, do you have your mic in XSplit?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I have it direct into the Hangout. XSplit. Let me make sure that I just upgraded XSplit. Let me make sure that's turned off.
Yeah.
What would it do? I mean, wouldn't it make a real mess if it was in both?
No.
Let's see. All right, I'll work on it. I'm going to mute.
Well, while you're working on this, let me ask Nick here something. So what's in vMix? What does that automatically mix audio? What does it do?
It's when it's for camera shots that have audio associated with them. When the camera is on live, it turns the audio on. When it's off, when it's not on.
Okay. Well, finally, yesterday I figured out how to turn it off in the main, like in the
Well, I wouldn't
settings.
recommend that you turn it off in the settings. It's not a good idea.
Why?
Because you could have a shot start playing audio in the background and you wouldn't be able to turn it off. So that's why that's on. You should never turn that off.
Why would I ever want to use the microphone that's in the...
Even those intro shots, the audio would come on. If you accidentally clicked on one or something, it would start playing the audio and you wouldn't be able to stop it.
Okay. Well, I've been turning it off manually every time I set up a new input.
Well, you do want to turn it off manually because you may have a situation where you only want the audio to mix when the shot is on, like an intro or an outro. You only want that audio to mix when the shot is live.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. So Comcast is trying to restrict cable operator sales of low-cost TV service to ensure its regional sports networks don't lose too many subscribers. According to a trade group, about 750 smaller companies that have taken their complaint to regulators. Comcast has tried to limit the availability of sports-free offering in contract talks with pay TV operators, according to the American Cable Association, whose members have about 7 million subscribers. In addition to being the largest U.S. cable provider, Comcast owns regional sports channels in markets such as Boston, Chicago, and Philadelphia. The claim shows programmers are fighting back as more consumers seek TV options that don't include sports. What in the world? I don't want sports.
Doesn't matter.
Why do you...
Okay, and I don't want to watch the QVC, but it's still on your cable plan. I mean, you don't. That's the whole. You don't have a choice. This is what. I mean, this is what. I understand why you're so passionate about not having sports, but it's the same way for people like me. I don't want QVC. I don't want the reruns of TV shows from the 50s channel. I don't want that stuff. But you don't have a choice.
I would think that they sports channels they're talking about are the pay.
No, Comcast Sportsnet is not a paid channel.
It's not.
No,
Okay.
those are regional channels. So, for example, Time Warner Cable Sports that you have here, that's a regional channel. That's a North Carolina. That's a triangle-based channel. It's like it's low. They probably show high school football on Friday nights.
Okay, so it's
regional.
So what are they losing?
Who's what? What is who losing?
What does Comcast loses if people don't want that? It's not like they're losing money. It's actually saving them on bandwidth.
Yeah, but there's no bandwidth cost associated with it. The problem they don't because I don't know. They don't want people opting out of it. I wish I could opt out of half the channels on cable, but you can't.
There must be some business relationship there with somebody.
Yeah, probably the sports team
that they're wanting to keep in place.
Like, for example, I believe the Oakland A's in Oakland are Comcast Sportsnet is their station. So they have a relationship with the baseball team.
I don't know. I always
The Houston Astros.
How's my mic level now?
Sounds fun.
Sorry. It's better now?
Yeah.
All right, I did have, it was enabled in XSplit but it shouldn't. I don't know how it was feeding into the
But it's not
Hangout.
moving. It's not moving by itself now.
not moving anymore. Yeah. So I turned off that what other applications control the level, and that seems to have fixed it.
Okay.
Because XSplit was trying to adjust the audio level. It says, I don't hear anything, so I'm going to make 100%.
What else? Anybody reading the chat while I'm...
Oh, Nick, I came across some startling statistics on the Rural Internet Initiative.
Okay.
How much money was thrown into this thing?
I can only imagine.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
How much is wow?
It is to the tune of $4.5 billion a year.
Oh, wonderful.
And they said 60% of the money goes into covering their overhead, not expansion of rural internet. And they've already spent $84 billion since the program began. And Department of Agriculture is getting involved now, and they've given out $7 billion.
Only 60% of administration costs.
Well,
That's a
60% of what they've
bargain.
given helps cover their overhead. It's not going towards actually expanding. What the
Yeah,
purpose of the
so-
program is to give more people access. And it's
Basically,
just-
administration costs.
yeah.
That's
So they're
shocking. When something
Remarkable.
costs over 50% to run it, then something's not right. Wow.
919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Call us. Let's talk. Sorry, did I stop somebody from saying something?
So I was saying before how I reconfigured my home internet
Yeah.
from, I was having issues over a long period of time with my cable modem and the signal levels. And if you look at the standards for DOCSIS 3 cable modems, the receive signals should be somewhere between 35 and 49 or so. That's the inbound. The outbound should be minus somewhere between 42 and 48. And I was hitting 51 on a regular basis, and that means my cable modem would roll over, or I'd fall back to 2 channels instead of having 4. This had been going on for years, right? It would work fine for a while. They'd come in and they'd put new ends on my cable. They replaced a piece of cable that they said was bad. Everything's great. Everything's great. And then 6 months later, all of a sudden, I'm getting terrible service again. Something is happening in their network. So I said, I can't deal with this anymore with having to call them and then nothing. Change it might be fixed for a while. So I moved my cable modem downstairs. It used to be in my office where I had a long cable from under my house go up outside my house into the attic and into my office. Dedicated cable. So switch that. Now it's just 10 feet from the amplifier to where the cable modem sits downstairs. I ran a Cat 6 cable from the downstairs implementation up to my office now. So I have great, I'm getting 360 meg at my desktop here over the gigabit link. So hopefully this is going to work. I'm sitting at about 48% or 48. I'll show you what the screen looks like and how to monitor your modem. Each modem manufacturer is different, but they show the same statistics.
So you figure that it was the long coax cable that caused the loss.
Well, that probably added a few more dB of loss. But the point is that I was right at the edge of being on the tolerance to let the modem stay up reliably. So now I've given myself a little bit more margin. So I'm sitting at about 48 instead of 51. So that gain that taking away a 3 dB loss, that's helping me now to have better dynamic range as far as how this works.
Okay.
But if you're interested in checking your cable modem, the IP address you need to put in is 168,
this is
198, 192.168.100.1.
That's for
If you
Time
put that
Warner.
in,
That's for
Time
Motorola.
Warner.
That's for the Motorola surfboard.
that's for TP Link and it's for Netgear.
Oh,
And so Yeah, TP-Link is the same thing.
Interesting.
And you can, depending on the manufacturer, TP-Link does not give you a lot of information on the splash screen. You have to go in and click on advanced. And then even there, it will scroll or will refresh every so many seconds. So you can start to look at it here. But I've got currently, I'm sitting at 16 locked downstream channels. And my average power, it's supposed to be between -10 and +10. Ideally, -5 and +5 as far as power goes. I'm sitting at 10, which still well within the spec. The spec is 15, plus or minus 15, and my signal to noise ratio is about 41 to 42, which is well within the spec. So I'm okay on my inbound. It's the upstream stuff that was the problem, and now I'm sitting at 48.5 on all 4 channels, where before I was sitting at 50 and 51. So just that little change and shortening the cable, and maybe I have a better cable. I've got one that I actually got from the cable company with their high performance connectors on it.
Yeah, but I mean, you did not change your numbers did not change until you replaced actually the coax with Cat6.
No. I didn't do anything. The Cat6 is just bringing Ethernet up to my office now.
Which
That's all it's doing.
before it was in its place was the long coax.
No, the coax was just bringing the internet connection to my cable modem
Right.
somewhere in the house. I just moved that. It has nothing to do with the Cat6.
You're still going the same distance from downstairs, from under the house into your office. Only before the majority was coming on a coax, now the majority is coming on Cat6.
No,
Isn't that
I
so?
just extended instead of having wireless connection to my downstairs,
Yeah.
it's wired downstairs directly, and it's wired to my upstairs. I don't have any.
Okay.
I have Wi-Fi, but all my desktops are connected by cable. So let me do let me do a screen cap of the. Let's see.
Somebody call in? Didn't somebody
Sorry,
call in?
Oh, yeah, wait a second. Shoot. Hold it, Spence. Thanks, Nick.
Go ahead.
Who's online?
Yeah, I'm not. It's Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Thought you forgot about me.
I did. Nick reminded me.
That's all right. Got a question for you.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, I switched over my PC to an SSD, got that working fine, and I decided to switch my wife's over. I did exactly the same thing with hers that I did with mine. Excuse me a second. Got Kermit in my throat. I changed her partitions to one on the SSD, formatted it, put it in, did a restore, tried to boot up to the SSD, wouldn't boot up. Tried all sorts of things. All I got was a blank screen, the monitor, and then the monitor shut off with no input. Threw another monitor on, I threw another cord on, I went from a DVI to a VGA cord, still nothing. I finally discovered what was going on because I turned it on once and had to go away from the PC, came back about 10 minutes later, and I had a Windows desktop.
So what was going on?
Apparently, my video card, or her video card, was not displaying native video. I took the video card out and went right to the motherboard video, and everything worked fine. My only problem is, I found out later on by doing some reading, the video card is not UEFI compliant. It'll only work in legacy mode.
How old is
it? Excuse me?
How old is it?
The video card's got a couple of years on it.
Okay.
It definitely is not. It says it on the NVIDIA website. It's not UEFI compliant.
All right.
So I tried to set the system up in the BIOS to legacy. It does not see the SSD. Will not boot.
Yeah, I don't think you can go back and forth like that when you...
What I did discover, though, was that when I formatted that drive,
Right.
for some reason I formatted it GPD instead of MBR. So I'm thinking that what I want to do is reformat that MBR because I want to use that video card.
Mm-hmm. That makes a
It
lot
never
of sense.
puts you. It never puts you into recovery mode. It never. If you boot. This is Windows 10.
Windows 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what it
Because
does is it tells me something to the effect, no boot system, no boot drive, or something like that.
The MBR is gone. So you can, the problem with Windows 10 is that you probably don't have an original installation disk, but you can go in and use recovery mode and select repair, and then if you let it diagnose it, it will come back and say, there's a problem with your MBR. Do you want to restore it? And you say yes.
Okay, I do have an installation disk, so I can do that, but I didn't know that was possible. That was my question. What's the easiest way to fix this?
That's one way to fix it. I tried to use some other third-party apps to do it. I recently built a Windows 7 machine to fix a business client. And I built a system on a disk, and then I wanted to clone it and keep the original disk. I could not get that clone disk to boot, no matter what I did. I tried cloning it different ways, different values, different applications. It still would not work until I went in and used the original Windows 7 installation disk and selected repair, and then let it analyze the disk and says, oh, we need to rewrite your master boot record, and it did it, and it worked.
Will it tell me that even though it's partitioned right now with this GPD?
I don't know.
Okay,
I can't answer that.
Let me interject something here while asking Mike. Mike will...
Mike's not here.
Oh, he's not?
No.
Oh.
Oh, booted NG?
Yeah. But I
If
know
it's,
that booted NG may not work on Windows 10. But didn't they change?
I'm not sure.
New.
I've never used it.
I used booted NG. That was one of the applications I tried to restore the MBR with.
Yeah.
And it said, would you like to fix the MBR? What MBR do you want? And I said, Windows 7.
Right.
Okay, we did it. Written, successful, done. It still wouldn't boot.
Oh, okay.
So I had to use the Windows.
I had to do it once with
installation
Windows 7, and it did work. But I didn't know about
Yeah.
Windows 10.
There was one forum, a forum I was on, and they suggested something called AOMEI Partition Assistant Pro. They said that will switch from GPD to MBR without loss of data. Anybody
That's what I was
familiar
going
with
to
that?
recommend, Mike.
Wait, Steve?
Yeah. I've used that myself. There's the problem with UEFI. Windows will default to installing in GPT. But you can. I've used that myself, that program, Partition Wizard or whatever it's called. That will convert from GPT to MBR. I thought it was going to take ages, but it only took a matter of a minute. And it was
Without
converted
loss
to
of
MBR,
data.
and
In
it
other words, I
worked
don't
fine.
have to restore the drive?
No, don't go through all the reinstallation and stuff. It'll just do it on the fly.
That just didn't
back and say
sound
operation
logical to me
successful
that
and
it
it's
was
done.
going to reformat.
No, I thought the same, but no, it didn't. It took about a minute and it was sorted.
Okay, so that's the way I should try first. Use that partition
It'll
assistant
save a lot of
Pro.
time.
Say, Steve?
I think you can download a trial of it. Yeah, that's the way to go. It'll save a lot of time.
Yeah, well, I got time. I just don't
Well.
want to. I fouled this thing up enough. Apparently, what happened with that video card was it does not display the boot up screens in what NVIDIA call normal or native mode.
That's because
When I
the
tried
BIOS
to
is
get
not
into the
recognizing
BIOS,
card.
I got a blank screen, but apparently I was actually in the BIOS.
Yeah. What did you say, Spence? That's because.
I said the BIOS is not recognizing the card. So it can't recognize it until the system loads.
Right,
Yeah.
and that uses
why
the
letting it sit.
driver in Windows.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
There
going
is-
to try that. Try to download that Partition Assistant and see if that works.
All right. All right.
I'll let you know.
All right, Mike.
Take care.
Take care. Very, 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 very interesting.
Yeah, I've had a similar problem myself. It's this. Why don't they just stick with MBR? What's the matter with them? They got to keep bringing this new stuff, GPT. Who the hell knows anything about that? Stay with MBR. You've been on it for years.
Well,
Goodness
supposedly they
gracious.
did it in order to make the kernel safer.
Well, I think it allows you for bigger partitions as well, but goodness
But
gracious.
they wanted to, I mean, the whole trying to find a way to protect deeply into the system without, on boot up instead of allowing there to be vulnerabilities like you had with old BIOS.
I understand they want to move forward, but they need to make it a lot more simple for people that don't understand much about computers. It's just insane. Leave an old legacy mode there that you can switch into to say, well, I've got old hardware. I need to utilize some of the old features. Make them available to me. Just because I've got a new system doesn't mean to say I'm going to have new everything.
Hey,
Isn't this
Spence.
just the way of life now? We just get to end. I just dealt with a major business application that went end of life, and had a customer who was running on older hardware, and it created a huge problem trying to restore the system. You didn't need it for much, just a couple of clients, but it was the only way to get to their data, and I had to go back and rebuild something that wasn't supported anymore.
Spence, you ready for the specials?
Yeah, give me a minute to get there.
No.
No, 30 seconds.
Do I hear 15?
Can I get a 15, 15, 15? 45, 45. Oh, can I get a 45?
Here we go. Let's see. We have specials, and we are, well, it's not opening here. I clicked up, it opened. Why did it opened there, but not here? Huh, this week's ads. I can't open it locally. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's make it bigger so my tired eyes can see it. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? Can I have your attention, please? The 6:15 to Philadelphia will be on track 6 tonight. All right, here we go. Computers 2K Now specials, October 15th, 2017. We have laptops available at Best Buy. We've got a Samsung. You'll like this, Nick. 12.3-inch Chromebook Plus. What does the plus mean?
What is that?
Touchscreen.
What is that 15? What is at the top? What's that 15 megabyte hard disk drive?
Oh, you like that? For $24.95?
Well, talk about it.
I'll take orders right now. Look at that. And as you see, it says requires appropriate installation kit. See below. So you buy the drive, and an installation kit is $500 for the installation kit. Woo! Wow.
So where should I send the money? Can I do a cashier's check or something?
Bitcoin.
Yes.
Oh, Bitcoin. Perfect.
We'll take U.S. government credit.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
What about
Just
bonds?
say how much you want, and it'll just automatically be there. So,
Great.
Well, we have a nice Chromebook. This is expensive for a Chromebook. It's $399, which is $50 off. But it's a nice Ultrabook Chromebook. So, Office Depot has a Dell 15.6-inch Core i5 for $479. That's $170 off. Staples has a entry-level laptop, but this has the Intel quad-core processor. I went and checked. For $299, that's $120 off. Desktops, all-in-ones at Best Buy. We've got a Lenovo Idea Center with an AMD A12, 12 gig of memory for $479. That's $50 off. Office Depot has an HP 23-inch all-in-one Pentium Quad for $449.99. That's $130 off. And this is a good deal on an entry-level desktop. HP Slimline with the Intel Quad Core for $269.99. That's $45 off, usually $314 at Staples. Tablets, we've got an Amazon Fire HD10 with 32 gig of memory, 7th generation for $149. Best Buy. Office Depot has a New Vision Android 7.0 10-inch tablet, 16 gig for $89. Save 10. Staples has Samsung 8-inch Galaxy Tab A 16 gig for $169. That's 30 off. Going to networking. Asus has been a leader in innovative wireless routers and access points for a while. Not known for it really, but have been an innovator. They were the first ones to come out with that flying octopus looking way out there AC or AD, I should say, new technology. But this is an AC router, dual band, gigabit, $159.99, save $20 at Best Buy. And this is at Office Depot, they've got a TP-Link Archer C50. This is a price performer, $44.99, $15 off. It's an AC 1200 router, dual broadband router, gigabit ports. I think it has gigabit. But if you're looking for an inexpensive, up-to-date technology router, $44.99. It's a good deal at Office Depot. And Staples has the Google Wi-Fi AC 1200 dual band whole house system. This is 3 access points. Of course, one has to be actually wired to your network. The other 2 sync up in a mesh. This is a self-healing, automatic load balancing mesh. $289, 10 off. Not a big sale. You don't see the stuff on sale much.
I think I used that TP-Link at Office Depot for the last year and a half or so.
The C50?
Works great.
It does. It's a great router.
Yep.
I have the Archer C7 and the TP-Link 16-channel 16x4 modem. They only make 3 modems. They make the 8x4, 16x8. I'm only using 4 of the channels, and a 24 by. I think it levels out at 8 on the inbound, upstream anyway. But good stuff. Excuse me. Okay, accessories. Best Buy, we've got the Logitech K400 Plus wireless glide point multimedia type keyboard, $27.99. That's 12 off. Office Depot has Brother.
Storage.
Say what?
We didn't do storage.
Yeah, you skipped over storage. The SanDisk.
Oh, I skipped. I'm sorry. I went right to the keyboard.
Uh-huh.
You're right. I scrolled. My fault. Thank you, Steve. SanDisk Ultra Dual. This is one that's got both a USB, micro USB, and USB 3 Type A flash drive. $34.99, 128 gig. Save $25 at Best Buy. Office Depot has SanDisk Ultra Plus Secure 32 gig SD and micro SD cards, either or, for $19.99, save $16. Staples has a 1 terabyte, 2.5-inch internal drive for $59.99. That's competitive with Amazon. I checked and it was on Amazon. The same drive was $54.99. So not bad if you can go pick it up that day at the store if you need it right away. I mean, you're always going to pay some price to get it locally, 10 off the regular price. Okay, back to the Logitech K400 Plus multimedia keyboard. What's nice about this is you don't have to have a mouse. You lay this on your lap, and you can use the glide pad. So it's very good for a multimedia environment. $27.99, 12 off.
I've got one of those, and they are brilliant. They're so comfortable to type on and have the ability to have a mouse.
Steve,
Yeah.
your mic is all jarbled. You need
Reload.
you need to refresh.
Refresh the page.
Brother P-Touch label maker, $9.99. That's 20 off the regular price.
Wait, did everybody understand what Steve said?
No, it's something about
Go
something
ahead,
comfortable.
Is that any better now?
Steve. Oh, yes.
Yes. Much better.
Okay.
Much better.
I've got one of the K400 keyboards, and if you're looking for a keyboard for, your TV, so for a computer connected to your TV, it's brilliant. It's such a comfortable keyboard to type on. It's condensed, so it's a compact one because you've got a mouse on it as well. Mouse is really responsive over a hell of a distance. I mean, you've got like a little block that it plugs in between the little micro USB connector. It plugs into like a little plug socket thing, which extends it, but it's actually a booster, so boosts the distance you can go, and it makes a huge difference. I love that keyboard. It really is brilliant, and for $28, that is a bargain.
It is. It is. In fact, I have an older. What was that one we tested that one, Amnon? The multimeter with the wheel. It didn't have a mouse. It had a track wheel.
Yeah, I think
that
it was
still works.
A Disso.
Yeah, it still works. I just checked it out last night. Now, this is something, Amnon, that I thought about you. If you were, remember at one time you were talking about doing product demonstrations?
Yeah.
This is specifically intended for that. This is a projection camera that's USB connected that you would use. Say you're doing a presentation and you want to have a light source camera that you can point towards different things, and it's on a gooseneck. So what a nice little device. It's expensive.
Again, did you skip over the Brothers printer?
No, I talked about it.
Oh, I didn't. I guess I was going to say. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yep.
So you put that on the
so
disc.
This is, yeah, and you have whether you're showing a piece of paper or you're showing a product or whatever you're doing, showing your keys on the keyboard. This is a way that you can easily adjust the camera, and it's got its own built-in light source, which is nice.
Be mindful with those. For those things to work really well, they use these in school. You need a really high end one if you're for people that are trying to do something serious with these things. You need the very high end ones to.
So this price point would be considered what?
Oh yeah, I mean like the ones that they used in college, I'm sure were a couple $1,000s a piece. I mean they had two very nice lights and a nice big camera on it.
And I bet the lights was off to the side. Right?
Yes, they had two of them. It was one on the left, one on the right, and then one with the camera for full. So you wouldn't block the light.
I know what you mean by the pro ones.
Yeah.
If it's for casual use, this might work okay.
Yeah, absolutely. For demoing something for maybe a friend or family member, I'm sure it would be fine. But you wouldn't want to. With something like this, you probably wouldn't want to use it for like a YouTube video or something. I bet you the frame rate's not great and the resolution's probably not great.
So here's my
compared
question.
to some of the stuff that's out there, oh my gosh.
It's called a document.
Some people do these YouTube videos are horrible.
It's a document camera. That's what this is for. It's a document camera.
Okay, so here's my question. Why couldn't you take a C920 and put it on a gooseneck?
Yeah, I mean you could, but there's no light source. That's what this thing is, the light source.
Okay. It's got everything built.
Yeah, I mean your C920 would be useless unless you had. And the problem is if you can pull up my camera. I mean, as you would imagine with this, if you're trying to show a document here and you have the device here. If your hand is here and your light source is coming from this side, you're going to block it. So these things are nice, but this isn't one of the higher end ones. They're very cool though. They are very cool.
And you need to take one of your big LED light sources with the multiple LEDs and glue the C920 to it.
Exactly. Velcro it to it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to monitors. We've got an entry-level monitor at Best Buy. It's a 19.5-inch Acer monitor for $69.99, $30 off. If you're buying a monitor, say you're putting in one of those home video surveillance systems and you need a monitor to monitor the system, this would be a good choice. Inexpensive, big enough. You don't leave it on all the time. Excuse me. Office Depot has a Dell 24-inch FHD IPS monitor. $129 is $100 off the regular price. And finally, curved monitors. Remember when they first came out? They're $300 and $400. A Samsung 23.5 curved monitor for $169. That's $30 off the regular price at Staples. Printers and scanners. We've got Epson Expression. A wireless all-in-one printer for $59.99, save $40 at Best Buy. Office Depot has probably my favorite printer, the Brother Mono Laser. That is the built-in fax machine, scanner, paper handler. It's $99. This is probably the cheapest you're going to find, the one that's got duplex and wireless built in. The cheaper version of this is just USB connected, if they even make it anymore. But for $99, this is a hell of a deal, 60 off. You can put in the high capacity cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I don't know what's up with the voice today here. Epson Workforce DS40 wireless portable scanner. I actually have the DS30, which is the non-wireless version of this. But they're great little scanners for if you have to go someplace, take your laptop with you and you want to scan documents in, or at the library or something like that. Very easy to use. It's powered by USB. I use it for scanning photos because it doesn't care what the size of the picture is. The software will automatically crop the scan and save the file, which is nice. And if you use it with OrphanView, the photo utility, it's very easy to scan in libraries of photos. $119, which is $60 off at Staples. Okay, home automation and security. This is an interesting device here, this precision cooker Wi-Fi, right? This is a heating element. I don't laugh at them. I know people that use this and they love it because if they cook a specific type of pasta that has to be cooked at a certain temperature for it to be right. I mean, I personally, you throw the pasta in the pot and you cook it till it tastes right and you take it out. But if you're into that, this is amazing. It is AC powered. You plug it in. It's got a heating element built in. It can be used for all different applications. It doesn't have to be in a stainless steel pot. It can be used in plastic. Say you want to heat something up to 110 degrees. So here's the way you do it. And you monitor it with an app, Wi-Fi app. So $199 at Best Buy. This is a hip thing. I mean, you got to get hip now.
Well, you know what's great about this? If you want to, I would imagine with this thing, you can turn it on and off remotely as well, Spence, I would presume.
Yep.
So this is great. If you have a crock pot recipe that only takes 4 hours, you're not going to start it in the morning when you leave for work. You would start it at noon or 1 o'clock when you're, if you're home at 4 or 5 when you want to eat. So that's what this is better. I think that's the main purpose of these things.
Yes. Yeah. For very fine control, remote control. Yeah. It's cool stuff. Yeah. That's at Best Buy. At Office Depot, Office Max, we've got the Night Owl key fob security camera. I thought this was pretty funny. It records audio and video. It's got 4 gig built in. I don't know if you can expand that. For $36.99.
So if anybody
use the pen or the key fob.
So if anybody takes out a key fob and points at you.
I was just thinking the same thing. Hanging on your pocket. Why are you hanging the key fob on your pocket? Oh, don't worry about it.
They've been very popular in the UK for quite a few years, actually.
I wonder if the camera's wide angle. You just lay it on the table with your keys. It'll work. Interesting. So
look what he's doing.
I'm recording you, Spence. Just be aware.
You are? Okay.
You're being
Thank
recorded.
You. I had nothing to do with it. I would never seen at that place. I don't know those people. All my financial dealings are up and up. All right. Staples has Black Label Innovations plug-and-play 1080p Wi-Fi camera, which is a tilt pan for $49. That's pretty good. That's for this
good
type
price.
of camera.
No zoom?
I don't know if it's a mechanical zoom. It's probably a digital zoom. But you have an app to go with it, and you control it, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I have, the D-Link version of this. It was a lot more expensive, but tilt pan is nice. If you're away and you want to check, I can check all 3 doors of my house from one camera. So
it's a good price for tilt and pan.
Yeah, it is good for tilt pan.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right, so that's at Staples. And finally, Computer Focus. Product Focus. I stumbled across this thing. I was like, what is this new touchpoint wireless smart light switch? And what caught my eye was it says does not require special bulbs. And I'm like, how does that work? So what it is, it's not home automation, although it does work with it is connectable to a hub. The New Bright makes their own hub, or it has accessibility to a specific hub. This is a replacement for a wall switch that's programmable using Wi-Fi, which is so cool, which is what I like about it. It's got a touch screen that you can program, but you can access standard house wiring, and it has a built-in intercom. It works with other devices like it in the house. You can create calendar events and other integrations, but they were thinking in a different direction. And most people are saying, well, you got to get the device itself has to be smart. Well, now you just have that's not true. You can get smart switches, but the switch itself is not accessible right from the screen unless you just want to press the button while you're there. You press up, down on the dimmer, on and off. That's great. But this actually has a screen built in. $259. This is available at Best Buy. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I've never seen anything like this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's got wide angle security camera as well.
Yep. Yeah, so it's pricey, but it might be if you have a minimal requirement. I like the idea about the intercom. So kind of nice. People thinking outside the box, which is good. And that's it for October 15th, 2017 Computers 2K Now specials.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Please send me a check so I can go and buy at least one of these 15 megabyte hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
I need $24.95 plus $4.95 installation kit. Can you imagine $4.95 to install the drive?
Scary.
It is.
Yeah. All right.
I've got something.
You go ahead.
As many of you are aware, I moved to North Carolina about 2.5 months ago, and with that, I had to purchase or get all new networking equipment again. And when I moved down here, Amazon's great, but we always talk about same-day delivery, or not same-day delivery. Amazon's great if you don't need it now.
Right.
So when I moved down to North Carolina, I needed a router, and I needed it now. I needed to be able to use the internet at home for work. So my options were Best Buy, Staples, Walmart, Target, Office Depot, Office Max, whatever. The typical big box stores. Amazon was out of the picture. So I ended up getting a Netgear Night. It's not a Nighthawk. It's a. Let me see. Let me log in and look at the exact model number of it. It's one of the higher end Netgear routers. I think it was about $150. It's got AC. I'm just trying to pull up. It's a. Let's see if it'll show me what it is. It's a Netgear. It's a Netgear. Trying to get the model. It's an AC 1750, which is their one of their higher end routers. And so I picked this thing up at I think it was Staples or Office Max, and it's fine. It's a fine wireless router. And last week, I decided that I wanted to do some basic features like Wake on LAN, some type of VPN for my phone, and the built-in Netgear firmware is useless. I mean, it was absolutely useless. It doesn't provide any of the features that my much cheaper Asus router that I had at home provided. Like, again, Wake on LAN, of some multiple types of VPN server. So Wake on LAN wasn't supported. And if you search on the Netgear forums, you have a whole bunch of tech experts trying to explain to you how Wake on LAN is not a router function, which of course it's not.
But you have to have pass-through to get it to work.
Well, I'm fine with that. No, I agree you need pass-through. The whole point is why the whole bunch of other routers support the functionality to add a MAC address to your router interface to Wake on LAN.
Right.
Which is great. So what I used to do is on my iPhone connect to a VPN, and then I would go to 192.168.1.1, log into my router, and then, boom, I'm connected. I can go to the Wake on LAN thing and send the magic packet, and the computer would turn on. So it didn't support Wake on LAN. I said, okay, well, what about a VPN? So I go to the VPN setup, and it supports OpenVPN, which I obviously prefer PTPP, but that's no longer supported because it's not secure. It's not really a secure VPN protocol. So OpenVPN is what I use, and I go there, I configure OpenVPN, and it says OpenVPN is supported on Windows and Mac, not supported on iOS and Android. Now, mind you, this is a $150 retail router. And you go on the Netgear forums, and people are saying, how is it possible that this... you and I read the post. This guy said, how is it possible that a brand new router does not support VPN on iOS and Android? And there was a whole bunch of people saying, well, there's workarounds, there's this. I'm not interested in a workaround. This is a high-end product from Netgear for a consumer, higher-end tier consumer product that Netgear makes. So what I ended up doing was installing DDWRT on it because I just was blown away with how useless the features that Netgear made available on this thing. I really I will never buy another Netgear product again. I mean, this was just a terrible experience. And I cannot believe that $150 new. This thing's been out since mid-2016. It's brand new.
Yeah.
Wireless router does not have a Wake on LAN function, and the VPN does not work on iOS and Android. I mean, just completely useless. I would have been better off buying some 802.11
something.
802.11n router. But unfortunately, it was not. That was all that was available in stores at the time.
But it did take the DDWRT.
So yes, I installed DDWRT, which is DDWRT is the name. I believe it's like openrouter.com or .org or something is their website. There's two names for it. And I was a little nervous about it, of course. You're flashing the firmware on your router, and if you brick
You're changing the router.
Yeah, if you brick it, your internet no longer works. So I was a little hesitant about the update. Amnon persuaded me to do it, so I did, and update worked fine. I configured all my settings, and it's got Wake on LAN built into it. It has multiple VPNs. I just haven't. See, the nice thing, or I shouldn't say the nice thing. The nice thing about this is it's open. You could send command line stuff to it. The other thing, there's not one-click VPN. You have to go and you have to configure it. So I have a guide on how to do it. I just haven't done it yet. But if you have a Netgear router and you're looking for some more
advanced,
advanced and just
more options,
features.
I mean, I couldn't believe the difference, Spence, between the way that the Netgear interface looked like and the way that it was after he installed DDWRT.
Yeah, they just have
wow. It was unbelievable.
Remember back in the day when Netgear was
the thing.
It was so much better than Linksys. And
that was many years ago. I don't know why they're not getting with the program.
Yeah. So it was. I was just very, very disappointed with the whole process. If I had the choice, I would have gotten I was unbelievably happy with my ASUS router, but unfortunately,
but you see, it
wasn't available in the store.
Paying that kind of money for the router,
you're
getting something.
Because I could have gotten a, I believe it was TP-Link made like an $80 AC router. I think it was similar to the one that Spence had an AC or some type of
AC 1750
TP-Link in
AC Archer C7.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was a higher level. Yeah. It was like $80 or $90, and I said, I want some of those more advanced things. I'm going to spend an extra, I don't know if it was $50 or $60 to get the Netgear, and it was just terrible. Yep. So I would not recommend a Netgear router to anybody. And I've had two ASUS routers, and I've liked both of them. So I got the one that I bought was a Netgear AC 1750, and it's a nice router. I mean, I don't have any dropouts. It works fine, but I just
you wanted more.
Astonished with the other thing that really pissed me off was you look on the outside of the box and it says of course, typical Netgear marketing, VPN and all these advanced settings. And then you get it. It's like, oh, well, great, VPN, but only on your computer, not on your cell phone. I was very, very disappointed with the whole process. But thank God for open source.
Yep.
So now I've got all those features.
Now I'm wondering how many of these old routers that we threw away could have been upgraded
with DDWRT.
Yeah.
There's,
and have a little more life.
Well, and there's things that you can do with them. For example, you gave me an old router that I tried turning into a VPN tunnel.
Right.
Unfortunately, the throughput on it was not sufficient. I think I bricked. I'm not sure. I didn't brick it, but there's no user interface, so you have to do everything via command line. But yeah, if you have an older router, especially for Ethernet stuff, I think there's DDWRT, and then there's there's one other one
all over the place.
DDWRT, and then there's another one. And they so just be cautious. Again, if your power goes out during your update, you're probably screwed, and you're going to brick your router. But you just have to make sure that your router's supported. Research, look up other. Like I read a couple forum posts about people saying, "Oh, I'm using it on mine; it worked." So just do your due diligence, and if you have to do a comparison, is it worth the features to potentially
if you
drop
need
$150? Well, and I needed a VPN.
That's not there, then obviously it's worth it.
Yeah, and I needed that VPN functionality, so totally worth it.
You did it. We're talking about keyboards too. Where was it? Oh, there it is. Computer keyboards will be phased out over the next 20 years. And we should think carefully about what replaces them as the dominant mode of communicating with machines, argues Android co-founder Rich Miner. Virtual reality technology and brain-computer links whose advocates include Elon Musk, could lead to a dystopian future where people live their lives inside of Google.
Yay.
Well, or they jack directly into computers and become completely depersonalized. He's worried. He takes a more humanistic view of the future of human-machine interfaces, one that frees us to be more expressive and requires computers to communicate on our level, not the other way around. That means software that can understand our speech, facial expressions, gestures, and handwriting. And these technologies already exist, but have a lot of room for improvement. And he was given an example. What he was looking for is something like, to raise your hand to stop a video, to pause a video.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that fact. Make the computers adjust to us, not us adjust to the computers.
Well, I mean, Cortana does some of that stuff. It's not gesture-based, but it is command-based. Like, for example, you can tell Cortana to open, I don't know, QuickBooks or something like that if you use a business application.
So you can?
Yeah, Cortana's interesting. It's I think it's a lot of this other stuff. It's kind of a gimmick. You can
call in.
We hear you. Just hold on a second. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, this is Gene. How you doing?
Hey, Gene.
Hey, looking for anybody that might have an idea on a quick fix for me. I use Malwarebytes Premium, and pretty much scan every night, and on different computers. And occasionally, sometimes twice a week, as a matter of fact, because I scan every night, I get pups galore. And the exact number is 645. And I get the same, it's almost like the same 645 pups that I quarantine and then I delete. Does anybody got any idea why that might be happening? It's always 645.
You don't need to quarantine pups. For the most part, pups are sort of like legal, legitimate.
Potential unwanted programs.
Yeah, there is nothing wrong with them. I mean, everybody gets them.
Yeah, I know that, but it's kind of annoying.
You can.
If I just left the 645 there,
Yeah.
And didn't delete them, they wouldn't come back. Maybe.
If you don't delete them, then they're there anyway. If you delete them, they're going to come back.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
What I'm crazy about though is why is there 645 potential unwanted programs?
You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot of surfing. That's why.
Yeah, that's okay.
But the thing is that you can leave them, and they are not really the same ones. You're going to get more and more because it's just like cookies.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it stands for. I can't remember.
What, PUP?
What?
PUP stands for Potential Unwanted Program.
Oh, okay. It's really nothing to worry about, and if it annoys you that they're there, leave them alone, or somehow tell your program that this is a false positive.
Yeah,
but it's okay. I mean, you're deleting everything else. You're quarantining a lot of other stuff. Then quarantine them. It's fine. It doesn't take but a second more.
It's just that when you say quarantine 645 pups, it sits there and spins for a while, and it takes a while. It starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to wait for 645. Thank God you can delete them with one click.
Yeah.
But you can't. You know what I mean? So it's just a pain. All right, I just thought maybe somebody had a quick fix to that.
No, don't worry about them.
Now, I know what they are and all.
Yeah.
It's just like I say, it's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Okay.
All right, Dean.
I'll get back on the computer. Take care.
Talk to you later. 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. So what else?
So, Steve,
Hey,
I have
Mike.
a question for you.
Oh, for me? Go ahead.
I understand that as of tonight, no more round £1 coins are acceptable tender in the UK.
I had not heard that. I know that they've got a new pound coin, which is sort of dual metal. You've got a gold outside and then a circular insert. Well, you can't take it apart, obviously, but, it's two metal. I did not hear that it was no longer legal tender for the old
It may be
coin.
fake news, but I heard that.
Go to the
Let's
bank
see what it
fast,
said
Steve.
there.
I haven't got any. I've made sure I've only got the new coins.
As far as I know, RDU is the only exchange place. The round coin will be replaced by a 12-sided £1 coin that is more difficult to counterfeit.
Yeah. Well, they're bringing in new notes as well. We've got the new £5 note now, which is a sort of synthetic, papery, plasticky looking thing, slightly smaller than the old one. Because in England, we've got our notes are different sizes for the denomination of note. They get bigger for the higher value. Whereas I believe in the States, you have all same size notes. How do blind people manage? Because over here, you slip the note between your finger and you can tell by the size of it, what denomination it is. In America, they're all the same size. So I just don't understand how blind people figure it out.
Well, there are ways.
There's a number on them.
Well, yeah. Well, you ask, don't you? You say to somebody, "What's this note, please?" Yeah, but there may be numbers on them, but how are you going to read them if they're blind?
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes
British
obvious sense
households.
to make them a different size.
British households have got rid of 60 million pounds worth of the old round pound coins over the past week, but there are still more than 400 million pounds worth in circulation and down the backs of sofas with just this weekend to spend them. From midnight on Sunday, the round pound will no longer be legal tender. Many retailers have made it clear they won't take them anymore, including Sainsbury, M&S, and Lidl. There's no panic as Tesco, Aldi, Iceland, and Poundland, plus lots of small retailers, say they will continue to accept them for a short period, while the banks will let you deposit them into an account for months yet. The UK's largest retailer, Tesco, says it will allow shoppers to pay with the coins at tills and self-service machines for an extra week. Aldi and Iceland will take them for 2 weeks, and Poundland will accept them until the 31st of October. However, you are likely to find that the coin will be useless in most coin-operated machines, so that stacking the car won't help at the station or hospital car park. Already some supermarket checkouts, so is it Lidl or Lidl?
Little.
Are no longer taking the old-style coins. How do you make sure you don't get shortchanged in the great coin changeover? And then it goes into this long, I can post this article, but the thing that the people here are griping about is that a lot of people in the United States who travel to the UK might have $100 worth of these coins in their travel kit, and they can't swap them out.
I would think that it'll be crazy for anybody who travels to take $100 worth of coins when you can take them in paper because of the weight.
That doesn't mean they have to take them all with them every time.
No, the thing is, though, you can still go into any UK bank, Lloyd's, Barclays, National Westminster, or whatever, and you can exchange them over the counter for the new coins. You can do that with the notes as well.
Let me go book a $1,500 flight to the UK so I can walk in and swap my $100 worth of coins.
Well, if you're coming on holiday, don't worry about it. You can go into a bank and change them, and they'll still accept them probably a couple of years past their denomination. So don't worry too much about that. But if you want to use them for shopping, yeah. The thing is, there's a big furore going on in the UK at the moment that a lot of car parks still don't accept the £1 coin, the new £1 coin. They'll take the old one, which nobody has anymore, or very few people have anymore, but they haven't switched over to accept the new £1 coin. So people are going to park, and they've got to put in like 50 pences and loads of change in order to park. These people have known about the change coming to the £1 coin for at least 18 months, and they still haven't upgraded their machines. That really annoys me.
Sounds like government to me.
Well, it's people not wanting to spend the money to upgrade the machines.
Sounds like government to me.
Well, private entities that don't want to spend money out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have some £1 coins, but now I'm going to be broke because they're going to be worthless.
I would think that they'll go up in value.
Maybe to foreign people, perhaps, but not to people in the UK.
Yeah.
It's like to say the new £10 note has come out now, so that the old £10 note will soon be no longer legal tender. Again, you can take it to your banks to change them. I'll have to go and look under my bed and see how many £10 notes I've got.
So this is a ploy by the government to screw people out of their money.
Well, they don't want you to have money in the bank, you see. They don't want you to have money stashed away behind the cupboard.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how many bootleggers are trying to circulate their coins and switch them into real stuff.
Well, there was a high percentage of the old coin being just one metal. It was, I don't remember what the percentage was, but it was pretty high of fake coins being in circulation.
As I recall, in the United States, now Gene would know, he knows everything, but as I recall in the United States, every piece of legal tender is still legal tender. They will never invalidate the legal tender. But that may not be true. It may be fake news, but I believe I heard that.
I think that there is a limit on putting old notes into the bank. But I mean, I had an old wallet I found. I thought I'd lost it, but I found it and it had £30, £20 note and a £10 note, and they were of the old variety from the last time they did a change. And I just didn't realise that they were old and don't take much notice of what a note looks like. I tried to buy something. He said, "Oh no, this is the old notes." I said, "Are they?" "Oh, I didn't realise." I said, "I just found an old wallet." And he said, "Well, you take it into the bank, they'll still exchange it." And they did. They just give me a new looking £20 note and a new looking £10 note, which was no problem.
As long as they cover you, that's fine. Just this thing about arbitrarily changing the currency, I understand why they do it. I mean, a lot of countries have had to do it because of the rampant bootleggers. Their currencies were not so technologically sophisticated that it was easy for anybody with a printing press to boot. I get that and to correct an issue, but in the United States, to my knowledge, that if it says that this document is good for legal tender, then it's good for legal tender forever.
I wonder how they handle certificates like silver certificates and things like that.
Well, you can still use them as a dollar bill,
Yeah.
but at one point you could get a premium for them. I mean, at one point, a United States silver certificate was worth $1.89. Something happened. I don't know if the U.S. made a law or whether something happened where after a certain date, a silver certificate other than numismatic value was good for exactly $1. Where's Gene? He knows all this stuff. John knows. John, why don't you fill us in? You remember all this stuff.
Alan is telling you some stuff.
Anyone else see
Yeah, but
talking about
where's
value
Alan?
currencies and things?
Where's Alan located? Isn't he in Canada? I don't remember.
I'm from Canada.
Anyone else see this week that Bitcoin passed $5,000 per Bitcoin?
I did.
Quite surprising. I wish I'd bought them when they were only $1 a piece.
I wish I wouldn't have sold
worth
3
a
of them
fortune,
about in 2014.
Yeah. I was there at the start. I should have invested some money into it, but never mind. I didn't.
Well.
It's a story of my life.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yep.
I mean, this stuff's all scam, though. I mean, realistically, this is not the future of currency.
I hope not.
And there's no governing body. Everything is held by third parties. It's just not. It's not realistic.
Right. I
It's
mean,
not
pretty soon,
life savings.
we're going to have these numbers tattooed on our foreheads. They'll all start with the digit 666, and then we won't have to have cash.
I'm never going to buy into a currency that doesn't. It can just vanish overnight. I mean, it's just the whole thing is just very bizarre. And what is driving the cost of these things up? Somebody is driving the cost of this up for a reason, and it's not known
Cost of
yet.
what?
The cost of the value of a Bitcoin.
The value of Bitcoin.
Oh, it is the
That's like
cost.
$2,600 now, right?
It's $5,000.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that high.
But the question is, what is driving the value up on this thing? This is not a supply and
Currency
demand thing.
manipulators.
So far, the
Supply and
only
demand
people,
is usually what does it.
so far the only people benefiting from it are scammers.
Yeah, because there are people
That's
are paying
not
them.
true. Why
Why?
do you say that, Imnot?
I say it because that's the only stories that you read about people using it is when you pay ransom and you pay,
Not
stuff
true.
like that. Who?
Not even remotely true.
Okay, so who do you know that uses Bitcoin?
That stuff is being used in business quite a bit. You go look and see how many online retailers are accepting Bitcoin.
They accept them, but nobody uses it. I read an article a couple weeks ago. Dell, for years now, or not years, for maybe a year or two, has offered Bitcoin, and there was some article about how it's barely. But here's the thing, Mike. This to Amnon's point. You know what these people are doing? These businesses, they get the Bitcoin in, and they instantly convert it over to U.S. dollars. They're not holding the value of the Bitcoin.
Well,
Okay, companies that accept Bitcoin: Overstock.com, Dish Network, Microsoft, Intuit, PayPal.
You're right. All scammers.
Equifax.
Yep.
There are
Equifax.
some big players there that do accept it.
I think one of the great things to come out of Bitcoin is blockchain.
Yeah.
Yeah, blockchain's
That's
great.
the significant development there is that can be used. They're talking about blockchain now for the Social Security system.
Yeah.
Well, is exactly what I was getting ready to tell you about, and I will confess up front, I really don't understand blockchain. I understand conceptually what it is, but in practice, I don't know what it is. I had lunch with a prominent local attorney in a nice sized law firm. They're starting a practice on blockchain.
Yep.
Well,
Time to invest.
yeah, but it can go down to 500.
No. Just invest in blockchain. I mean,
Oh.
invest in crypto. I just
Now, blockchain is just a redundant storage technology that saves multiple copies of the same transaction to prevent fraud.
my point is invest in things
So-
that are associated with blockchain. Like for example, when people say invest in pot, you're not investing in pot. You're investing in the hydroponics and the lamps and the whole things that are associated with either growing pot or hemp or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. I don't know. There's something about it. Well, I did get screwed by look at Mt. Gox. I mean, there was billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin that they just vanished with.
Yep. And interesting development.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Do you have a sound effect?
Huh?
Do you have a breaking news sound effect?
I have. Oh, do I have a wait a second. You know what?
There we go. So
All
this is why I'm here.
Blabatron.com.
Oh God, God help you.
Let me tell you something. Somebody named Eric
Oh God Almighty.
built that site, and yesterday I was on it with a couple of them. It's still in alpha. It is stable. I couldn't believe it. It looks just like Blab, but it's working.
Where'd they get the name from?
Couldn't believe it, huh?
Where'd they get the name from?
I have no idea. Blabatron. Well, yeah, Blab.
Funny enough, the guy that is building this owns a website that creates blockchain software solutions.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Well, apparently he's a very good coder, programmer, and they have a whole team behind. And I was talking with Jane, the Italian girl that's on it, that was on Blab too.
There's 3 people using it.
And it's still in alpha. Not many people know about it. Actually, Fraser is the one that posted it, Steve. And I was sitting there for about half an hour, just talking and listening, and not one glitch. That never happened on Blab. But we still
But nobody's using it.
to see. Right, we have to wait and see what happens when more people are using it. But it was.
I've not heard of it.
Fraser posted something on the Facebook group, and that's what I clicked on, and sure enough, Blabatron.com.
Is it open focus to the public, or is it closed rooms as
it's
the other ones?
It's open to the public, but people don't know about it.
Big issue they have. That doesn't. It only allows you to sign in with Facebook or Twitter.
Right. You can only
Huge issue.
sign in with Facebook or Twitter.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
but
But
I mean,
I think that's the
it's
problem that you have with all those web RTC. I mean,
No, that's just
not all of them. You're right. Not
There's
all
2 ways. There's two mindsets, in my opinion, on this. There's the I don't want to create another username and password. I don't want to give them my email. And then there's the other of where I don't want my personal Twitter account associated with what I do on this website. I mean, personally, for me, I don't care about making accounts online. It doesn't bother me. But there's a whole bunch of people that refuse to make new accounts.
That's the thing is that this to do an authentication system is kind of complicated.
Not really.
Well, I mean, I think this is why they don't do it.
No, it's just because it's a social network. Everybody has a Twitter and everybody has a Twitter and Facebook account. Seriously,
Yeah.
everybody does.
Yeah.
Especially if you're interested in using a service like this, you absolutely have a Twitter account. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
What I was asking is if they have a public face to an index for which calls or which shows or whatever you call it are open.
No, you have to log in.
Right. Yeah, you have to log in.
I logged in.
Yeah, so you've got to log in, but can you see which rooms are open?
Yes.
and
There's only one room open, I think.
There's 4.
4 rooms? Yeah, yesterday was only 1.
So if you were to open your own, it would be a public listing that other people can see. Oh, Amnon's got Nissan Communications open.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing in one aspect, and it's a bad thing if you're looking for trolls and things like that.
Right.
But that's what a service is needed, where you can go and open a chat room, get goodness knows Tom, Dick, and Harry from all over the world, so that it gives you the advantage of meeting new people rather than having a closed environment where you've only got a set of 20 people that can get in, which is, you're not going to get any new blood, which is what's lacking in Appearing and the other ones.
Right. Right.
Maybe I'll do my radio show on there
As long as the
tonight.
function is there you're going to do your show there, okay. I'll give it a look, see what it's like.
What? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll give it a look, see what it's like.
Yeah, take a look.
I'll be doing my radio show there live tonight. Tune in. What? What's so funny?
Against the norm on Blavotron.
Screw radio. When he's on this service, there's 3 people on it.
All
Are
right.
you going to have a call screener?
No, unfortunately, I will not.
Okay, you want to pass along what's going on?
With what? With Sean?
Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too into detail about it, but our good friend Sean, who we've referenced on the show for, I don't know, what, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years. He lives out in Sonoma, and him and his family are kind of under the gun with these wildfires that have been burning for, it's been about 5 or 6 days now, maybe a week. So as of right now, everything appears to be okay, but the fire is moving into the town that he lives in. So
they keep on going back and they leave and they're going back and they leave.
and there's a I'm going to post this in the chat. There's a GoFundMe
that's what I was gonna
people
ask you.
that is being run for. It's being run for the firefighters that, because I saw there it was like 40% of the firefighters that are responding to these things have lost their homes and everything associated with their homes. So there's a GoFundMe here, and Sean publicized this. It's for Napa and Sonoma County Fire Relief, and it's essentially these people that have been saving other people's lives and property have unfortunately lost all of their property. So if you are so inclined to support some of those people, that would be great.
Yep.
There's also a lady on nextdoor.com in my group who is hoping to collect clothes to ship out there. She posted it a few days ago. She had people contact her. Something went wrong. She was not able to figure out a way to ship it to certain people out there, so she had to suspend it, but she's hoping to come back and find clothes. I mean, I'll bite my tongue, but if you're inclined to do that, I mean, we all have clothes that don't fit or we don't like or whatever that they could get some immediate use out of and then pitch or whatever. So all I would ask is that if this materializes to the point that you're able to somehow donate clothes to someone locally to ship out there, you might want to consider doing it. It's a good excuse to clean out your closet. Don't send them your junk, just send them the stuff that you're just not going to wear anytime soon.
Yeah, and it's really,
Throw
I
the
mean,
junk away.
people lost everything. They didn't have a chance to take anything
I don't understand
out.
the government not being there to protect them.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I just don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jerry Brown is personally going to protect everyone from any sort of damage that can be caused by them. And I don't understand how it's Trump's fault.
Well, the other thing too, and Sean and I were talking about this. There's no media coverage for this. Like they talked about it when it first started, but those fires are still burning and still moving, and there's no talk about it.
Yesterday I was talking with him on the Skype chat, and I said, "Boy, it looks like the cam in the Sonoma Plaza still showing a lot of smoke in between the trees." And he goes, "Amnon, this is the power. This feed is down. The power is out on that part of downtown, and they are replaying from 4 in the morning." And sure enough, I mean, a little bitty text up there, it said that.
It is. It's not live anymore.
No.
Which is not a good sign.
Yeah, they lost power.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do need help, and it's a good cause. All right.
Very unfortunate.
Very, very unfortunate. Here's
One
something.
final question.
Yeah.
It's after 11 o'clock.
Oh,
One final
yeah, never
question.
mind. Do what?
Someone explained to me why. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Someone explained to me why. In Facebook, for example, there's a post that says, "This has probably been asked before, but I'm after an affordable USB microphone for a laptop for a newbie podcaster." Someone posts the obvious answer, and then 15 people post exactly the same answer.
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing?
The people are
Time
not
it
reading.
takes for that stuff to it takes for that stuff to update. Apparently, they must vet that stuff or run it through some kind of a filter process before they post it.
I don't get it.
The thing that I don't understand is, here's the person telling you, this has been asked before. Then why didn't you just look at the answers then?
Well, this is the same concept, and I mean, I'm guilty of this, just like everybody else. You want to make your post, and you want somebody to answer your question directly instead of reading somebody else. I mean, I'm just as guilty of this as anybody else.
It's funny. I would rather do the opposite. I don't post anywhere, but I read through forums to find answers. I'd rather see 10 answers and get the gist of something than get one answer from somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about.
And Mike, you got something to look forward to.
Which is what?
Which it will be asked again and again, and the same 15 people or more will answer it.
I mean, I understand saying I seconded, I thirded, I fourthed. That's valuable information. But people post it like, "Oh, how about this one?" Okay. I mean, it's tempting. I tend to be a little cynical, sarcastic. I know you guys have trouble believing that. But, I mean, it's tempting to go in there and say, well, since no one else has suggested it, let me suggest the Audio-Technica ATR 2100. And there are 54 people above it who've already recommended it.
Maybe people just want to hear themselves talk.
That's a fact.
That's definitely what a podcaster is all about.
Mm.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Anything else out there? Nope. Okay.
No.
There's a lawn to be cut.
There is a...
A lawn to be cut.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like fun.
Nick, you're around. Why don't you come over and cut my grass for me?
Nope, got to go back to Wilmington.
Oh.
All right. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thanks, Mike, Steve, Spence, Nick.
Thank you for having me. I will not be here next week. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say bring your folks.
Nope, they'll be gone.
No.
I will not be here next week. I apologize. But I will be on the show. Don't worry.
Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and use and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tomorrow afternoon on the Gisela Show at 5 o'clock, she's going to talk about CBD oil. She wanted me to tell everybody. Tonight at 7.
Yeah, we're back,
Nick
baby.
Craig hosts his program Against the Norm on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7. And you can listen on TuneIn. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.